John Presloyd. That's me.
When John Presloyd isn't busy answering clues in the Jeopardy studio, he's in the lab at the University of Toledo working as a research assistant studying Lyme disease. He said he's been an avid Jeopardy watcher pretty much his whole life.
We watch it every single day, and I would keep score like a dork.
As soon as he turned 18, Presloyd says he began auditioning for the show. Finally, he got a very important call last fall.
Oh, I lost my mind. I was actually at work. So I was at work. I was busy doing an experiment.
Presloyd says as far as prep, he studied areas he wasn't fully comfortable with, like fine art. When showtime came, Presloyd says the staff gave the contestants a practice round, allowing them to get out their jitters and get comfortable answering in the form of a question. As far as working with Alex Trebek,
he's really funny. So he doesn't come until right when taping starts, basically. So you're dealing with production, and then he comes on stage, and everyone just kind of gets quiet because it's Alex. It's Alex.
Presloyd says he's excited to recall the experience he says went by so fast.
Going on Jeopardy was a moon dream. So, I mean, just being able to set foot on stage felt like an accomplishment.
Hello? begins in 5 minutes. The meeting will commence in 5 minutes.
Who is John Presloyd? That's me.
When John Presloyd isn't busy answering clues in the Jeopardy studio, he's in the lab at the University of Toledo working as a research assistant studying Lyme disease. He said he's been an avid Jeopardy watcher pretty much his whole life.
And we watch it every single day, and I would keep score like a dork.
As soon as he turned 18, Presloyd says he began auditioning for the show. Finally, he got a very important call last fall.
Oh, I lost my mind. I was actually at work. So I was at work. I was busy doing an experiment.
Presloyd says as far as prep, he studied areas he wasn't fully comfortable with, like fine art. When showtime came, Presloyd says the staff gave the contestants a practice round, allowing them to get out their jitters and get comfortable answering in the form of a question. As far as working with Alex Trebek,
he's really funny. So he doesn't come until right when taping starts, basically. So you're dealing with production, and then he comes on stage and everyone just kind of gets quiet because it's Alex.
Presloyd says he's excited to recall the experience he says went by so fast.
Going on Jeopardy was a moon dream. So, I mean, just being able to set foot on stage felt like an accomplishment.
Meeting will begin in 1 minute. Meeting will commence in 1 minute. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Rotarians. Welcome to our meeting today. This is being Monday. It's and the last day in February. And hope everybody remembered Valentine's Day. Just and if you did forget it, maybe you need to think about some stuff. Just anyway, as is our red ring, and for the moment, this is the lost and found box. Mike George, would you join us and do the reflection, please?
Let us pray. Dear God, as Rotarians, we have always taken the lead role in protecting our community's greatest asset, its people, regardless of their abilities. Let us be vigilant advocates for them, remembering that we must be the eyes for those who cannot see, the ears for those who cannot hear, and the voices for those who cannot speak. Thank you for individuals who advocate on their behalf. We give praise to those who make a place at the table for all to sit, as you have commanded us to do, by loving one another as we love ourselves. Let us use the knowledge gained today to share with others in our community to improve the greater good for our collective betterment. Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And I was going to say thank you, Jill, for leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance. George Eistetter, you're out there somewhere?
Right here at the mic.
Okay, you know I can't see you, but okay.
First, is it the truth?
Yes, could we all stand for the four-way test?
Oh, okay. We'll start over then.
Okay.
First, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned?
Is it fair to all concerned?
Third, will it build goodwill and better friendships?
Goodwill and better friendships.
And fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Beneficial for all concerned.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, George. I think you have another announcement.
Also, you can sit down, but President has asked me to mention that you recall that he said something about polio a week or two ago. And he mentioned this morning an update that in the first 7 or so weeks of 2020, there have been 17 new cases, all in Pakistan, and that 2 inoculators, I think you would call them, were murdered in Pakistan giving those shots out. So there's good news and there's bad news, but we hope the rest of
good news and bad news. The 17 cases, I'm sure, is at least in part a result of the murders that took place of Pakistani vaccinators. These are our employees, and it brings it to us, vaccination to a stop in a sense. But the good news, as you just said, is we haven't got any polio anywhere else in the world, and that includes Afghanistan. Has not had a case since early December. So good news and bad news. Rotary International and this club in particular, and George as well, you've been involved in this for a long time. We've done a lot to get rid of this disease. We have to finish the job. Thank you to all. Do we have any visiting Rotarians today? Or is that the list? Okay, could you stand and, I cannot see you, so can you come and tell me where you're from?
This will be my last time here. Thank you so much. My name's John Lippis, and I'm with the Sandusky Club.
Okay, well, welcome, John. And,
thank you.
We want you to, are you here somewhere? Could you stand?
Go to the floor, Mike.
I can't see you. You've got to go to the floor, Mike.
Scott Libby, now Perrysburg Club.
Now, Scott, didn't you belong to this club? Yes. Can you give me an explanation?
Sure. I was the year after Perrysburg started, and there for 10 or 12 years. Then moved down here to be with the club. And it's in the Perrysburg Club suggested strongly that I move back to Perrysburg. So we all know where the power is in this world.
Thank you, Scott, and you're welcome here anytime. You have many friends. Ken Robinson, where are you out there? Would you go to the floor mic and tell us a little bit about yourself or the E-Club you belong to?
It was like an interrogation. I can barely see you either. I'm Ken Robinson. I used to be in the Perrysburg Club for many years. Now I'm in the Ohio Pathways E-Club. All of our meetings are online. We have folks from, I think, 8 states and 7 countries in that club. If you ever need a free makeup, Google Ohio Pathways E-Club and you're off to the races. But I made that switch because my travel schedule wouldn't let me, with my job in Cincinnati and Columbus now, maintain things in Perrysburg. So this is a great way to visit bricks and mortar clubs here or in Florence, Kentucky or in Columbus. But here's preferred, so thanks for the welcome.
Okay, so you left the Perrysburg Club, huh? Thank you, Ken. Ken was the district trainer for many years. He did a good job. We have a club sponsor, or I don't know if Jeff Anderson is here or not. If he is, thank you to the Toledo Club for sponsoring our meetings this month, and Jeff Anderson in particular. I would like to invite members to come to the floor mic and introduce their guests, please.
President Tim, I have with me today Sierra Hutton. Sierra is Director of Donor Relations at Sunshine Communities in Maumee, and she's a prospective member of our dear club.
Welcome, sir. Enjoy the meeting. Thanks, Tom.
President Tim, fellow Rotarians, I'd like to introduce
Wait a minute, Greg. I thought
Yes,
you
sir.
died.
What's that?
I thought you died.
No, I'm hanging in there.
Months.
What's that?
I haven't seen you for months.
I'm hanging in there.
So did somebody buy you a meal today? Or
Yes, they did. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the meal sponsorship. Tim, I put it on your tab right out at the front. I'd like to introduce to everyone today my daughter, Miranda Robertson. She's a graphic designer with Dynamic Dyes in Holland. Claire, Miss Courtney Steck, another pseudo daughter of mine, if you will. And she is employed by the Senator Group as a coordinator in sales and marketing.
Wow.
Thank you.
Welcome, all three. I hope you enjoyed the meeting.
Hi, President Tim. I'd like to introduce my friend Emily Oberator. Emily is a marketing and design specialist with United Way, so she's anxious to hear today's message.
Welcome, Emily. I hope you enjoy the meeting.
President Tim, want to introduce Sarah Beddoes. She is the marketing coordinator on the Employers Association team.
Sure, welcome. Enjoy the meeting today.
President Tim, fellow Rotarians, I have 3 guests with me today from United Way of Greater Toledo. Kirsa Tall is the Director of Development Operations. Lucas Stahl is our Manager of Public Affairs and Advocacy. And JB Brubaker is our Development Officer at United Way. So we brought the whole crew today.
Welcome, everyone.
Good afternoon, President Tim and fellow talent and workforce team member from the Toledo Regional Chamber of Commerce. This is Jocelyn Libertor, and she is our Workforce Initiatives Manager.
Welcome. Scott Henshaw, are you there somewhere?
Thank you, President Tim. On the afternoon of Saturday, April 4th, from 3 to 6 p.m., some unpleasantness will take place at the Toledo Club, including, probably, a robbery and a ghastly murder or 2. You, your spouse, and your friends are invited to explore the secret nooks and crannies of the Toledo Club while whispering your theories and searching for the clues that might just solve a mystery. Now, your costumes of your favorite criminal or detective are more than welcome, but not necessary. And I assure you that this event, should you choose to come, will be to die for. Thank you.
Oh, no, Scott. When are you doing this?
April 4th, Saturday, April 4th, from 3 to 6 p.m.
Do I need to bring a magnifying glass?
You should. You should. And if you have a Sherlock Holmes hat, highly encouraged.
Thank you very much. I think it's going to be a fun event.
Yeah, it certainly will.
Mr. Murphy, are you out there somewhere?
On Thursday, February 13th, the 6th District Court of Appeals held a ceremony for the Honorable Peter M. Handwerk. They named a new training room in his honor. The courtyard was filled with family and friends and judges and staff from the Court of Appeals. 2 judges spoke, and Peter thanked the community for all that they've done for him. Peter served on the court for 30 years, the longest serving judge in the history of authored 1,741 decisions. Peter also filled in for judges from time to time, both while he was working and after he retired. Peter was more than once asked to sit on the Ohio Supreme Court, which is almost unheard of. And what is very rare, once he authored a Supreme Court decision, basically unheard of. There he is over in the corner. Smile, Peter. Peter and his wife were honored, and he is a very close friend of mine. Tim and I and our wives were at the ceremony, and it was wonderful. And we thank Peter for his 30 years of service.
Peter, I think I should say well done. 30 years on the bench, 1,700 decisions which set the tone for how this community operates and the stability that it has, all that you've done. We're all grateful for your service. When I heard that that you were going to the courts, I was just glad they let you go. So, thanks, Murph. Jack Hollister, are you out there?
Chairman Tim, fellow Rotarians, I stand here before you as a representative of the Working Better Together, or WT subcommittee dedicated unity. There are 4 outstanding organizations involved in this effort: the Ability Center, the Epilepsy Center, Goodwill Industries, and Lot Industries. And I'm happy to announce today Churchill's Market, MVP Moving and Storage, the YMCA, and Partners Toledo. Again today, David Tackett's of Goodwill Industries is at a table in the lobby. And if you'd like to inquire with him or pick up a card that you can pass along to your HR department, that would be greatly appreciated. Just as a reminder, the only thing that you have to do is express an interest in learning more. If you want to ask David, he and his team will follow up with you, inquire as to what type of positions you might have, and then try to help you find the talent that you might need for those positions. So we thank you for your support and look forward to giving you continual updates on a monthly basis.
Thank you very much.
Am I free to go, or am I going to get grilled? I've been practicing answering questions for.
You know, Jack, I was gonna let you go, but now I'm.
Now I set myself up, didn't
Yeah,
I?
but now I'm gonna, anybody got any questions for Jack? I look forward to your report next time. Thank you. I just want just a few more announcements today. Past President Chuck Mann and Rotarian Bob Amfor have been cleaning out our storeroom. And I understand there's quite a lot of treasures there. I can't wait to hear what we produce in terms of the treasures, and I don't even want to know what we end up throwing out. But it's been a lot of work, and thank you to both. Well, we're talking 100 years ago, talking about Rotary and talking about our history. I invite you to take a look at the desk in the lobby and take a look at that. And look at the other treasures that will find its way, no doubt, to that table over time. So just a little bit of our history. Right now, I'd like to invite Kathy Tate, no questions so far, to come to the podium and introduce a new member.
You scared me there for a minute. Little box. Okay. Hi, fellow Rotarians. It's my pleasure today to introduce new member David Miley. I don't know David real well, but I know he's proactive and tenacious, which I really enjoy those characters in an individual because he sought out Rotary when he decided he wanted to be involved in more service. So I can tell you that David grew up in the Toledo area and graduated from Maumee High School in 2005. He worked for several years in manufacturing industry and then decided to change his life story. So he worked in the insurance industry and started at Transamerica selling life insurance and quickly moved into furthering his opportunities, took the license test, and began full-time at Gluckle Agency, where he is currently employed. David says that while at Transamerica and through some of his work at Gluckle, he discovered that couldn't read what I wrote. He likes serving people. That's what I'll just go there. David is a volunteer at a baseball coach for Toledo PAL. Now, I had to look this up because I didn't know what that was. For those others of you who may not know, Toledo's Police Athletic League Toledo is a nonprofit delinquency prevention program that works to prevent juvenile crime and violence by building the bond between police and kids using athletics. This positive influence can counter the gang influence, substance abuse, and potential violence that can occur in the underserviced areas of our community. The program focuses on serving those youth that are in the underserved areas of the community. So, men's workout group. The most important item to note about David are his two children, Gabe, who is 11, and daughter Sophia, who is 1. David continues to seek out other avenues of opportunity for himself and his family to serve others. So today, before the meeting, I made sure I introduced him to a few key Rotarians who will help him find his way and navigate through that process here in the club. His pet peeve is when people don't use basic manners such as please and thank you and holding open a door for others. So fellow Rotarians, please join me in welcoming David Miley.
Tim Ryan, I'm a Rotarian. And right this minute, you are too. You've just become the newest Rotarian in the world. You've joined 1.2 million of us, and we do a lot of stuff. So what do you want to do with us?
Some volunteer.
You think I'm going to let go of this?
No,
Not sure.
man. I can squeeze harder than you, I think.
Okay.
Okay.
With disabilities, workers, children with disabilities. Whatever you're interested, we have a committee for community service for you. I strongly encourage you to join a committee. If you do, there's a lot of great people in this room, but it's a smaller group on the committees. And I have a booklet for you that tells you the names of all the people out there, your new colleagues. Congratulations. Mary Federkey, I thought that you dragged John, but then you said that John dragged you here?
He's a more regular attendee.
Okay, well, I'm going to give you the floor, Mike, so that you can introduce our speaker today. But if you want to say anything to John, go ahead in public.
Good afternoon, fellow Rotarians and President Tim. Today it's my real pleasure to introduce to you Jill Bunge. Jill is the Director of Community Impact at United Way of Greater Toledo, and in that role, one of her primary responsibilities is strategic management of the 211 Community Information and Referral Service, and this serves Lucas, Wood, and Ottawa counties. Before coming to United Way, Jill was the executive director at Food for Thought, which many of you may be well aware of. It's a Toledo-based organization that is focused on serving those in hunger situations, food insecurity. Jill graduated from Green Mountain College in Poultney, Vermont in 2010. And then she moved out to Billings, Montana, where she completed a year of service in the AmeriCorps Vista program, again, working with in program for a children's garden. She was there 2 years doing that, and then returned to her hometown of Toledo, Ohio. For collaboration between nonprofit organizations and for learning about and implementing new innovative ideas that help to alleviate hunger, homelessness, and poverty. Before turning this mic over to Jill to speak, we're going to watch just a brief video that will show you the voices of 211. And then following that video, please welcome Jill to the mic.
Thanks for calling United Way 211. This is Andrea. How can I help you?
Yes, I was calling to see if you can tell me where the nearest food pantry is.
I think I need a lawyer.
Do you have any idea where I could go for some donations? I just have so many bills piling up. Rent, utilities.
Okay, so what I can do for you is connect you to a few programs and resources that you might qualify for. First, I'm gonna need to collect some confidential information from you. Is that okay? Yeah, anything.
I'm actually calling for my neighbor. Is that okay?
Are you currently employed?
Kind of. I got hurt and I haven't been able to work for a few weeks now. I'm pretty scared I might lose my job. I have medical bills adding up, and I'm worried they're going to go to collections. I don't know.
Okay, I understand. It looks like there's a church in your neighborhood that offers rent assistance. They're open right now if you want to give them a call. Also, I'd be happy to direct you towards a place that can help you with your resume if you might need to look for a different job.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Can you tell me how much a lawyer might cost? Well, there's a lot of factors. What kind of trouble do you feel like you're in? He shoved me into a wall. My husband said really terrible, awful things, and he shoved me into a wall. Oh, I'm so sorry. Do you have a safe place to stay tonight? No, not really. We can't go back there. Okay. Let me give you some information for some legal assistance. I'm also going to give you some shelter information for people dealing with domestic violence, so you can make a plan.
Do you think there's any way I can get groceries today?
I found 2 food pantries in your area. Do you know if the family has any other needs?
I can't say for sure, but I know that their grandson has asthma, and I know that the medication can't be cheap.
Okay, I have a few places you can call. Do you have a pen? I didn't know that there were places where you could get free legal help. You think I might qualify for that?
United Way 211 connects people with resources in our community. Your support unlocks doors for people when they need it most.
Is there anything else I can help you with today?
Thank you. Good afternoon.
I'm very appreciative of the opportunity to be here today. 2-in-1 is a resource that I have used in my personal and professional life since 2014 when I relocated back to the area. And having worked more intimately with the program over the past year, I've come to deeply appreciate its power and capability in our community. So I really appreciate you all allowing me to share that with you today. So 2-in-1, it's a free and confidential service that helps people across North America. So this is a program that's wider than just Toledo, but get them connected to resources 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Annually, 12.8 million connections to help are made each year. 80% of the state of Ohio is covered, and 94.2% of the US is covered by some incarnation of 2-in-1. And over 70% of 2-in-1 programs throughout the network are funded or administered in some part by a United Way. So locally, our local 2-in-1 system, again, is this free, confidential, and anonymous information and referral service that connects Lucas, Wood, and Ottawa counties, any of the residents to health and human service resources that they might need. So we provide several of the things that you see up here: job training resources. We do specific referrals for holiday assistance, your basic needs like food, clothing, and shelter during disasters. So while 2-in-1 is a program that we have here locally, its strength really comes from our community partnerships. So we're working closely with some of the area's major nonprofit institutions and coalitions to see how 2-in-1 can play a role in connecting people to resources that they need, and then how 2-in-1 can actually adapt to best serve the needs of individual agencies or populations in our area. So we're training social workers, case managers from mental health and substance abuse agencies to use 2-in-1 to connect their clients to resources outside of their medical realm of needs. We're working with the library system to assist with requests or referrals that their frontline staff might otherwise have to make that they might not be able to address in-house. Our 2-in-1 team is also immersed in community-wide conversations about bigger systemic problems that happen in our community. We're working with Lucas Metropolitan Housing Authority and the Toledo-Lucas County Homelessness Board on housing and emergency shelter issues as well. It is absolutely imperative that we raise awareness about 2-in-1, which is thus what brings me here today, for two reasons. Really, the first, of course, is to connect people with the myriad of resources that we have in our area so that they can get connected to things and programs that already exist. But also, we really want to build this robust data set, this publicly available knowledge center of new and up-to-date programs that are emerging in our community and agencies that are providing new resources. So this is why our media partnerships are so critical to that. They help spread knowledge about 2-in-1, both to the end user, but also to the agencies that are providing their programs, so that we know that service providers are registering with us and they're putting their information into this database. Block Communications has really become a leading partner in this arena in 2020 for us, which we're so appreciative of. So 2-in-1 also has great partnerships in the education space. In the K-12 world, we're registering TPS students for free backpacks and supplies at the beginning of the school year. We're also working with Scott High School students and families now with their new scholarship opportunity so that they have additional supports that they need to be able to take advantage of that to the fullest extent. And on a higher education level, we're working with Owens Community College to help connect their students to resources to ensure that they remain in school and that they have the appropriate financial supports to do so. And then there's an obvious tie between the work of 2-in-1 and many of our local government, and can help folks get connected to basic services like food, utilities, housing, so that when they show up on scene and they realize that there's perhaps not a medical emergency at hand, they know how to provide that appropriate referral. We're contributing to workforce development by connecting folks to job finding resources, and we're working on collaborative data from our elected officials, our local government agencies, and other public servants at the city and county level both. So 2-in-1 has existed in our community for quite some time. This program has been around for over 50 years. Its first incarnation was called First Call for Help, which emerged in the early 70s. And while we have this long-standing history, this service has really evolved recently with new technologies, and we've undergone really positive transitions in the past year. So our renewed focus is around growing this community database, as I said, making sure it's reflective of the wealth of resources that we have in the community, and also to shed light on areas where there might be some gaps, where we might not have enough programming or adequate agencies that are fulfilling a need that seems to be existing. We're making a much more intentional effort around community awareness. And this service truly is for everyone in the community. So through advertising, community outreach, public presentations and trainings, we really need to reach people across all 3 counties to make sure that 211 is as well known as 911. And we hope this outreach has a direct correlation for increasing the utilization of 211. So when people contact us, we're able to capture their basic demographic information, and that can be hugely powerful for shedding light on the types of folks that are calling, the needs that they have, and then that informs community collaborations to be able to adequately plan for new and emerging needs. And all the data that we capture is publicly facing at an aggregate level. So you guys can all view this at any time. We can share this information publicly. And we really want service providers and community members and companies to know why people are contacting us so that we can all address those collaboratively. Our 211 service. Over 1,500 veteran and active duty households were served. And 3,200 contacts were made by folks age 65 and older, by older adults. So across our 3-county footprint, as I said, we exist in Lucas, Wood, and Ottawa County. Each business day, we respond to about 250 calls across our 3-county footprint. Lucas County has our highest volume of calls. The top zip codes calling from 211 are 43604, 09, 05, and 07. And on the right there, the top 3 needs that we see consistently are for housing and shelter, for food, and for utility assistance. So this community resource database that I've been talking about. So in addition to being able to call and talk to someone, we call those folks our community resource advisors. They respond to text messages, and then your standard by dialing 211. But we also have this online database with search functionality. So we have 700 agencies that are listed in here who are administering over 2,000 different programs. Most of those, the vast majority of those resources are local, but we also provide resource referral to state and national organizations as well. But we're also collecting this additional information. And this is really what equips people to be able to utilize the information that we're giving them. So we know the contact information for these places. We also know the eligibility guidelines, the hours of operation, the documentation required. So if you're going to a food pantry and you need to have your social security card and a birth certificate, we want to make sure that you have that information so that you're heavy lift to make sure that all that information is accurate. So once annually, we send out a reminder to each agency to update their program information, but we're doing this on a continual basis throughout the year. So agencies can contact us at any time if their programs may change or shift, or perhaps they get a grant and they're opening up a new program. They report that back to us, and then that's reflected in our database. We also collect information from the folks who are calling us. So if someone calls and they know of a new and emerging service in their area, we're able to then feed that information into our database and update that. So asking the second question, sometimes services are not available for specific needs, but this is where the navigation piece with our community resource advisors is really coming in to provide that extra mile to help people. So our CRAs, as I'll refer to them as, are trained to ask these probing questions that really get to a deeper layer of what might be going on in someone's life that they need help with. So in this example, perhaps someone is calling because they're unable to make a car insurance payment. We don't have an agency locally that's able to help with that specific need, but what we find out through a conversation and 2 humans interacting with one another is that this person recently lost a job, and so they're in need of something to help round out their budget. So can we provide this person with job finding resources and also with a food pantry or someone that can help with utility assistance so that they can adequately prepare their budget to make sure that they get through this time? So this is a really powerful example of one of our community resource advisors actually navigating someone through this process.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, thanks for calling 211. This is Jennifer speaking. How may I assist you?
Hi, I'm looking for the number for the fair housing for Lucas County.
Okay, sure. What kind of services are you looking for with them?
My house was destroyed by a tree, and the mobile home park that I live in is wanting to just leave it as an act of God, and the The house, or the tree was rotted. I feel like it was their negligence.
There's zip code where you live.
That's 43558.
And what city is that?
It's Lucas County. It's a Swanton address.
Okay, thank you. And your age?
I am 31.
Thank you.
I tend to forget
It's
that
okay.
on purpose.
Exactly. After I turned 26, I'm like, I'm done. I'm 26 forever.
Every year from now on.
Okay. Now, is anyone in the home pregnant?
No.
Any children in the home?
Yeah, we have 3.
Okay, thank you. And anyone in the home a veteran?
No.
Go ahead and pull that up for you. Do you have pen and paper?
Yeah.
Okay, so what they do at Fair Housing is they provide enforcement of fair housing laws, which include free and confidential complaint, and then this number. So what I would say is to contact some places about your landlord-tenant rights, because technically the landlord-tenant rights information. So for that, you can contact, the Coalition on Homelessness and Housing in Ohio. They actually answer questions about what your rights are on landlord-tenant rights in Ohio laws. You'll leave a voicemail with your question, your information, and then they'll contact you back. So their phone number for Coalition on Homelessness and Housing is 888-485 7999, and you can call Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. And the number I want to give you is for legal aid. Basically, you can contact them, same questions, and they'll have you do an application by phone. If they're not able to help you, they'll give you some brief, how those with much. All right, is there anything else I can help you with?
No, ma'am.
Okay, well, you're welcome. And if you think of anything else, definitely give us a call back. We're here 24/7. Thanks for calling 211. Have a good day.
Thank you. You too.
So this for me really animates the distinction between information and referral in this navigation piece, which is one layer deeper. So information and referral would have been someone calls for fair housing, we give them the number, conversation over. But as you can see there, our CRA is very knowledgeable about the resources. She's able to find out information about what's going on in this person's life to pair them with the appropriate resource that's actually going to solve their problem. So one of the most powerful facets of respond to text messages, we have folks who are messaging us. We have all this information collected in an aggregate level that feeds into another online dashboard called 211 Counts. So as our calls are coming in, we're categorizing those in the specific needs that people are requesting. As I said, we're capturing the time, what needs people had. It really breaks down that information specifically. And we really feel like it's our duty to be able to provide this information and report it back out to the community as a whole. So I did speak about, very briefly, the unmet needs. So we might not be able to fulfill a particular individual's needs when they're calling or contacting 211. In that case, we do continue to track that. So we might not be able to fulfill that need because the person on the other end of the line is not eligible for that service. Perhaps we don't, or perhaps it doesn't exist in our community. And that's where we can really start to have some fascinating conversations about why that might not exist. What are the eligibility requirements? What are the barriers to this person being unable to receive a service that they're clearly in need of?
Señora? Sí. Okay. Yes. Could I please have your zip code and your age?
¿Me puede dar, por favor, su código postal y su edad? 43612. Y mi edad, 34 años. Gracias. Zip code 43612. Age 34.
Okay, and does she have any minor children in the home?
So for time's sake, I'm not going to go through additional audio calls, but that is showcases our translation services, which happen very quickly. So again, showcasing that we are really trying to accommodate and make sure that everyone is able to access the resources that are available in our community. 211 can be this single point of entry. It's an easy to remember 3-digit number that you could call. Again, we have additional facets where you can contact us via text, really specifically tailor our service to meet the needs of different community organizations. One example of that is appointment scheduling. So in the fall of 2019, we contracted with Cherry Street Mission. We were able to schedule all of their Thanksgiving dinner reservations over the course of 2 weeks. We scheduled 1,500 reservations for Thanksgiving with them. We also partner with LISC annually to schedule over 3,000 tax prep appointments through their volunteer income tax assistance program. And through this program, an average of $2 million is returned to the community each year in refunds. We're so excited to launch a mobile community resource advisor program called our Mobile CRA. That'll be coming online at the end of this month. Actually, we're starting tomorrow at 2 branches of the library, Heather Downs in Maine, and that on Owens Community College. So all of the folks who are hired for us are local folks. They're working at home remotely. So they're answering phone calls. They're based in Lucas County here. But because of that technology, what we're able to do is then embed them in spaces where they can have that one-on-one, face-to-face interaction and have a conversation with people. So we're very excited for the launch of that program. That'll be a 6-month pilot coming up here. Coordinated access is, we maintain a running bed count for 4 of the major shelters in our area, and we facilitate that process into emergency shelter. So we also maintain a wait list for individuals when shelter is not available, but any individual who is experiencing homelessness is calling 211 as their first point of entry. Working with Welcome TLC and having them help advise us on how we can best reach immigrant, refugee populations, and then limited English proficient speakers as well. And finally, 211 is a very important service during emergencies and disasters. So we actually partner directly with our local emergency management agency in each of our 3 counties. And 211 is a disseminator of critical information during emergencies, and also a point of entry for streamlining volunteers and donation folks, so they had up-to-date and a reliable source of information, organized water distribution, and coordinated volunteers through 211 as well. So 211 is this is a lot of information. It's a very complex and multifaceted program, but I really want to summarize the key benefits to community. So, I feel that we can really confidently say 211 is an unparalleled service in our community. The scale and the breadth of the information and referral and navigation services that we're providing for health and human service folks are really unmatched. We strongly believe that this information is a community asset, and so it should be publicly accessible to everyone. So that's why we ensure that our database and this data capture information is free and accessible to folks, and it's open for all to use. Again, this notion of being a single point of entry, you can imagine in a time where you're in need of some type of assistance or you have a crisis, something changes in your life where you need help navigating, and perhaps a space that you've never had to contact someone for help before. Being this single place that you can call and know that you can find a wealth of resources is really paramount. The contacts that are made to 211 are this pulse on trending needs in the community, and we also feel happening in real time. And 211 is this adaptable service that really can be molded into whatever the community needs at a given time. So we want to make sure that we're getting feedback from folks so that we can make this the best service that it can be for our community as a whole. And we're thankful to have a national and international network of other 211 systems so that we can continue to pull best practices and really stay in touch with what the emerging technologies and trends are. So a strong 211 system lends itself to community needs wherever they present themselves. But again, to bring back this partnership piece, the real strength comes from strong buy-in from our community members. We're going to provide this service at the end of the day. We feel like it's important. We've heard from our service providers, from our agencies, from our elected officials. We know that they continue to echo that this service is extremely important for the community as a whole, but we really want vested interest from additional members of the community. We have an amazing network of service providers in our region. There's no reason that folks should not be able to get the help they need in a time of crisis. So we're going to do our best to make sure that people are trained, are aware of the multifacetedness of 211, and that they have the capability to use it to its fullest extent. So I would ask you today to tell folks in the public service sector to register their services with 211. Make sure that you're referring your colleagues, your friends, your coworkers, not just into it, but we're really here to answer questions, to get feedback, again, because we really want this service to be strong for our community. A reminder that there are 3 ways to reach 211 through calling, texting, or our chat and database. And I am happy to answer questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Bunge, for your fine presentation.
My pleasure.
I suspect I'm typical of most Rotarians here today. Before this presentation, I didn't know 211 from 811 or 611 or 911. And thus my question, how do you intend to educate the public as between calling 211 and 911?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question. It's something that we've been talking about a lot with our first responders. 911 is this number that we have ingrained in us from the time we are in elementary school. It's the one number that we know to be able to call. What we want to do is make sure that our first responders who are on the front line, who are arriving on the scene, have the knowledge to be able to provide that referral. For overutilization of 911 in our community, we're seeing that it's a lot of folks who are repeat calling over and over again. So if we can really get on the front lines and make sure that they know about 211 to address some of the other needs in their world, for instance, if they're discharged from the hospital, they're diabetic, and they don't have food in the house, that's going to result in a 911 call. But if we can equip them with other resources to make sure that they have food in the home through 211, that will hopefully prevent that up front. But really making sure that we're immersing ourselves in lots of different community spaces to make sure that people have an understanding of just a baseline of what 211 can provide is critically important as well.
And I think especially if you would confirm that a lot of what 211 and 911 are concerned with is
Absolutely.
that correct?
Yeah, and which number to call when, right?
Yeah.
So you call 911 in a medical emergency, or if there's immediate danger, 211 is going to be that the number that you call when you're trying to remediate other things from a longer term perspective that might be going on.
And this is great, but I think you need a lot more public education than what's just being presented here today.
Absolutely.
Especially in the neighborhoods and the population that aren't as tuned to things as some of other people might be. And I hope that you carry forward with plans for that.
Yes, yeah, we have a robust 12-month plan, trying to get to those blocks.
Questions. Did I hear you say that there are 211s affiliated with other United Ways across the country?
Yes.
Okay, so is 211 essentially a creature of United Way? Is that where it was launched at a region-wide level?
Here locally, yes, in
Okay.
our 3-county footprint, yes.
What would the other organizational structures be outside of this area?
They may just be nonprofit organizations. So we actually partner with an entity in Kalamazoo, Michigan called Griffin Place. They're an independent 501c3 nonprofit, but a call center. So they manage a lot of Western Michigan. And different 211 systems look different in different states. So Michigan is on a statewide system. In Ohio, we have specific areas. So we're administering our 3-county footprint here in partnership with United Way of Greater Toledo.
Then is it United Way funding that drives the business structure, the
Yep,
business
about
model?
50% of the funding United Way funds, and then we also partner with some county, state, and federal funding to fund the other half. It's about a $500,000 program. Wonderful. Thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it.
Jill, that was a great presentation. And I think the 211 idea here in Toledo is only going to make our community better and stronger. In recognition of your talk here today, we have gifts. The first is a history of Toledo that we would like to give, and thanks for this talk. And also, we will make a contribution in your name to our Polio Plus Fund, and you will help save some lives. Thank you very much. Just a few things left today. We have a Peace Committee meeting today in the North Cape room. Next week, our speaker is Bob Clark Phelps from Citizens Climate Lobby. Past President Chuck
Over from last week, a famous Viking explorer returned home from a voyage and found his name missing from the town register. His wife, on complaining to the local mayor, who apologized profusely, saying, "I must have taken leaf off my census." And this one, a husband and wife go to an adoption agency looking to adopt a child. They are well-dressed and well-spoken, and the social workers are quite impressed with them. However, when asked about their profession, the couple said they run a circus. Hearing that made the social workers raise an eyebrow. It didn't sound good to them, an environment with animals that is moving all the time. Doubts were raised about their suitability as parents. So the couple produced photos of their 55-foot motor home, which is clean and well-maintained and equipped with a large and spotless nursery. The social workers are happy to see this, but then raise concern about the kind of education a child would receive in the couple's care. The husband put their mind at ease, saying, "We've arranged for a full-time tutor who will teach the child all the usual subjects." Along with time, the wife explains, "Our nanny is a certified expert in pediatric care, child welfare, proper nutrition, and exercise, all that a child requires." The questions met with such excellent answers, the social workers are fully satisfied and ask the couple, "What ages were you looking to adopt?" The husband says, "It doesn't really matter as long as they fit in the canon."
Okay, Chuck. With that, David, welcome to Rotary, and we are adjourned.